Right, people, 7 o'clock, we're going to kick off. If I can ask you all to mute yourselves, which is obvious, because then there'll be no background interference for you and for me. Plus, the recording comes over better. If there's interference, it plays up. Brilliant. Welcome all. I think we've got a couple of news tonight. Let's hope you enjoy it and stay with us for as long as we get going. We have a bit of banter and there's a bit of sense of humour in it. We stick in the muds as we'll see as we go along.
Nigel Coe, is that somebody new?
Els, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. Right, those that pay the quid voluntary subscriptions, if paying by PayPal, make sure you pick friends or family. That way I'll get the full quid that you put in. Otherwise, I only got to get a percentage, which I've noticed. When our speakers are on, you can ask questions at the end. I will let you know when that is. If I'm talking, you can ask any time by putting your yellow hand up. You should have a yellow hand on your screen. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
If you could, just we'll just butt in at the end, because it'll be at the end anyway. So, I've got to thank Jeffrey from Ostend and Claire and Andy from France as they have come out of the wheel draw. Reason being, it would cost a bomb to post prizes over to them.
Oh.
So that's helping us all out. So thank you, Jeffrey, Claire and Andy. Should put the names on the wheel at 6:30, ready for a 7 PM start. Although tonight I'll put them on at 10 to 7, meaning we get more names on. So if you're after that, if you log on after and your name ain't on, then you know why. But I've got away with it tonight by doing it at a 6:45, so I'll do it again next week at the same time. 249 photos tonight. We will be finished for line of duty because I'm watching that last one tonight. Right, let's get going. Right, first photo. This is me doing the paper run. This is on a morning, and there's the hound because I can't take the dog with me. Because you can't take dogs in the paper shop. If I left her outside, somebody would nick her. Obvious reasons. Look at her little face. Right, liquid fish. This is me weekly feed. This is the one for the week just gone. This is for everything. This is only a feed, so it doesn't matter when I'm feeding, usually early morning or late at night. But if it was a foliar feed, which I should do very soon, then it'll be done when the sun has gone off everything. And everything gets this, the shallots, 8-ounce onions, then there's a tough ball, pickling shallots, and me pot leeks, which are in the tunnel back of the garden. Plus me blanch and me intermediates. So that is their weekly feed. There's a hound still perving, that was halfway through the day. There's a good one. Right, delphinium, these are coming up good in the garden, in the sense. I'm getting a bit of meat on them. I know the frost has touched a couple of them, but so far I've got away with it. But I'm keeping my eye on these, because if a leaf does curl up, like that one there, the leaf is telling you there's something wrong. So just open it up and you can just about make the grub out on that side, on the right hand side, caterpillar. Obviously that's why the caterpillar is in there. There's a leaf that's curled up round him, so that is his home. So take him out of the home, otherwise you'll start yomping the plants. This is a patio. If you can see the arrow there, I'll get another picture on him. This is a self-setter, but instead of being a weed self-setter, he's a nice little chap. So a nice bit of colour there. Right, I didn't knacker my old one up, Anthurium. or lace leaf. I've found another name for it. But these was going chap at Little, so I got one of them. Wilco, sorry, not Little. But he needs a bit of a potting on. As you can see, the roots are going around the bottom of the pot, so it's next size pot up. So I bunged him in the middle. Normal multi-purpose compost clover with added vermiculite. Plus I'm going to put a bit of mica under his arris, because this will go into the living room. Firm him in, give him a good watering, nice sunny day, not really windy, so it could be left outside. There's the one out on the right. I think I separated, because I tried to separate him earlier on, and I think I did it too early, and I've knackered the plants up. Just while I'm on that one, if you can see in the background, I got my strawberries in my basket. I've got away with them because this has been out now over a month or something, but the frost we've had, this is being protected by that wall. It's only a 2-foot wall, but that is protecting my strawberry basket. What's this little chap? Bird of Paradise. I'm hoping he'll flower this year or next year. He's come out as well, had a good watering and a little bit of feed. There's my other chap. I'm still going to hang on to him. I don't want to bung him away. But even looking after me even more, something else I'm going to do with the house plants is top dressing with vermiculite. That'll keep the moisture in as well indoors. So I've done that with them too. Then we'll be thrown back inside and with him. Jeffrey, this is one of the seeds you sent me earlier on. Delphinium. I've got the name somewhere. But
Giant Pacific.
Good man. But he's doing well. I put a bit of on top of him as well. Now I've put a bit of feed on a tissue there. What I'm going to do is basically wipe the leaves, and all I'm doing, because if you look closely on there, it is a bit stained, meaning it's got the dust off it, plus that feed that's on there has now gone into the leaf. It ain't much, as though I'm foliar feeding, but it is a bit. It's better than nout. Plus you're freshening the plant up so they go back inside. And they do look a bit better with a bit of vermiculite around them. There's a hound after the wasps or whatever's flying about. Right, tunnel back of the garden. My fan, I had this about 5 years ago. This is solar powered. And last couple of days he's been whizzing all around merrily. And there's a solar panel on the top. I've got to tape him down with clear tape, because if we do get any winds, then that's going to blow it off. But as it is at the moment, I mean, tomorrow's got to be crap all day. But I don't know, this is just rain or winds as well. No, it might look, it will be the rain, so I might have to tape him down quick. Right, on the allotment, I've had another good dollop of wood chip, because I've got 3 contacts now, 3 different ones. And if they're doing jobs in our area, they just drop off, but it don't last long. Right, 2 heavy leeks going out down the plot. I've got 2 left back at home in the greenhouse, and then we'll be going out in the tunnel maybe next week or week after. But these are off Neil Wednesbury. Good lad. I'll open his on tonight with an invite. If I can persuade him to give us put some photos on it in a week or so, that'll be somewhat good for us lot. So my leeks are going out. Pull the cover back. It is dry on top, but just down below it is nice. A bigger hole than what I want, so I've got the depth there. Bit of mica under him. Don't forget, none of these have had mica under them until they go out. That's the first one planted out. Put him sideways. If he was that road, he'd take up too much room, because these are going to get a bit of length on them and width. So overhanging the sides of the raised bed, which is ideal for me. Next thing I'm going to do, give him a bit of feed. This is shredded goat muck. We'll come on to that later on as well. Dried, shredded goat muck, which is out there. Next thing I'm going to do is top dress it. Luckily we've got a contact for rabbit muck, so he uses straw. Sometimes he uses hay, grass cuttings or whatever. I suppose it's whatever he's got to hand. But don't forget, if anything like that, it's natural anyway. But you've got your rabbit pellets in, which is your muck, so that's an extra feed. And then that lot is given a good soaking. The bed next door to it, I pull the cover back on that one, and that's going to be ready to go out as well. Exactly the same again, whole bit of mark under him, bung him out, and then give him a good watering. All the top dressing straw gets a good watering as well. Then the moisture in that lot won't evaporate, it will stay in there for at least a week, 10 days. But I mean, that is a good watering. And these have had a good watering, and they will be left now for about 10 days, because I want them roots to go down looking for more water. Right, that's them two done and both strawed. That lot there is now dry. That's spent tops for Gavin when he comes up. Right, Rhubarb, somebody put this on the one of the groups during the week, asking why his rhubarb has gone to seed. First thing I did was ask him, have you picked any yet? He says no. I said, have you fed it or waited it? No. I said, that's why. Anything goes to seed, it's telling you it thinks it's going to die, meaning it's going to throw young. You throw young by going to seed. If you used to pick it, the best thing you can do for that is pick the lot, even if it's got to give anyway. Make wine out of it, eat it. The leaves, you can make your liquid feed out of it. But if you don't pick it, feed it or water it, and it thinks you're going to die, it will go to seed. If it does go to seed, just go take your hand right down to the base and just twist and pull the lot out. When I used to have my rhubarb, well, I've got one bit left now, but not so much as what I used to have. But I still feed about every 10 days. This is when he's mature, like this one is here. And obviously, don't let them dry out. Like anything you got growing, you ain't going to let them dry out. Same as rhubarb. Rhubarb don't look after itself. Help it out. Right, I think it's Nigel. You asked me last week about my door, about heating the end of the greenhouse.
Yes, yeah.
That's just a photo there. With my door on. Obviously, that's only a bit of wooden frame with plastic, tunnel plastic on, and it's just a 4-foot cane that's holding the door up against that. But that works. That stays at 50 or 10 in funny money. But this, I think, yesterday that was 15 overnight, and it was 5 in here. So doing well. Also, my compost. If that compost, my bag of compost, obviously it's in the heated end. Luckily, I've got power up there. If that was on the slab, that'd be cold. So I lift it up. I've got my bowl. That's my mixing bowl. What I use for my compost, mixing my compost, my vermiculite. So I put that compost in a bag, cooled up, obviously, so no air can get into it. It can't dry out itself. And I put that on top of the upturned, and that keeps it off the slab, so it does keep it nice or warmer than what it's supposed to be. So if I do come to need to do a bit of potting on, prick it out or whatever, it isn't cold compost. Just to help the plants out. Bit of colour back of the garden. These chaps are doing well again. Don't look too close. A bit of green fly on him. Right, the goat muck. Now all this lot about a month ago was chocker. Now there's only bits. Well, there's still loads there, but you've got to rake around. But they are. Look, this is how I want them now, and this is how I've been collecting them. I've had a few bags of this because it's dried. I can break them up by hand again, and I'm still dry inside, and I go through the shredder, and that's what I want to do. So if it's piddling down outside, I'm still doing something. If it take paperwork or sorting something out on the laptop, then I'll go in the garage and do something. And basically, I put everything through the shredder. You can see it coming out the bottom if you've got a good eyesight, but it is good stuff. Last week I went and got my hair cut. We noticed, you cool dudes. When I was at the hairdressers, I got a mate into my hairdresser Graham down the line. I got him to do a couple of raised beds on his back garden. So I took him some rabbit muck down for him and some goat muck, because in his greenhouse he got rid of his staging. I says, well, I can throw that away for you, because Mark on our plot, he wanted some for his greenhouse. That's why I took him his goat muck down and got that for our Mark, sort him out. Right back of the garden, the bluebells and the white bells now are coming through. The only thing is with these now, they suppress everything else, like the other plants. I'm struggling, but I got away with it last year, so see if we can get out this year. Right, our first guest speaker tonight is Jeffrey from Ostend. Remember, questions at the end of his presentation, and I'll give you a cue when that is. Jeffrey, all over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mick. Good night, everyone. Right, Mick.
Okay, Jeffrey.
Yep. Right. If you remember a few weeks ago, the last time I spoke, I said I had a problem with the vole eating every tuber we have in the garden. So I racked my brains how to get around this. So this is a net, like chicken wire, and I bent it into an envelope shape. I put the dahlia inside that, and then I stick it into the ground, cover it with very fine compost, so it can like get through the holes and cover the whole dahlia tuber. Then I water it to keep the dahlia wet, and also to slide down the earth in there. So I'm going to try this year and see if the bugger can still eat it or not. Next one, Nick.
I'm going to close that a bit. I don't know why these have come out small.
I don't
Oh, that one's all right.
know. That's how I put them in. And then you just move the earth around them. And I put a bedding plant on top of that. Something like a snow carpet or something. Yeah, Mick. These are in the orange pots. Dahlia seeds I started. On the top, there you can see a few are already flowering, but these were started in my home. I think 1st of July, 1st of January. So they are already flowering, but they're the short kind. These should be the ordinary ones, and these are from the seeds that I sent to Mick. So you should all be having the same ones. And at the bottom 2, 4, 6, 8, the bottom 8 on the left are lupins that I've sown. On the yellow pots that you can see are the potato seedlings that I started from seeds, the TPS. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 varieties out of the 7 that I've sown have come up. I potted them on 2 weeks ago. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to put out. So they will be going out at the end of May into the prepared bed in the buckets, so I know which variety is which. Yes, Beck? This is where you can see where I put all the dahlias in a row. But now I've already covered the whole thing with earth, and I've put in some plants that Aldi were throwing away. Oh, they were really, really bad state, like really, really dried out. but you could see 1 or 2 leaves that were still okay. So I said, why not? I'll take them with me. I asked for a discount in Aldi, and I got 24 plants for €2.50. So I said, I'll have a go. If I haven't got, if the plants don't recover, then at least I've got a few pots for next year to sow other things in. And along here we'll go. So if you imagine along the picket fence, you'll have sweet peas at the back, then dahlias, and in front the flowery things, which are red and purple. There are 2 pelargoniums in there, and I think I'm going to put some trailers along the border, and they're going to be snow carpet. I don't know if you know, the little white flowers that spread out like crazy. We're going to put a few of them in there as well. That behind the stakes is my potato patch. And on my potato patch, I put all the potatoes in Serpomira. They're all about 30 centimeters deep, so I won't see them till about halfway May. I should see the leaves, so that's why I put them in so deep, because the frost normally halfway May has passed, should have passed, because it's still bitterly cold out here now. And on top, you'll see some green stuff, but I think there's not a picture there, I don't know, sure. On top, I sow wildflower seeds. Summer, what's it called? Summer flowering wild seeds. They're from Lidl, and I just throw them over there and let them do their thing. Yes, Nick. This, I think, is going to be controversial. I'm going to get a lot of people saying, no, you can't do that, it won't work. But I don't know, I just tried it. Because it was cold so long, I like growing long carrots, long parsnips. So I said, right, I'll check the pipes, the drain pipes I put them in, for size, and see if I've got pots to match. So there are different kind of pots in there, like big ones, small ones, and they're the size of the pipes. So I said, okay, I'll cut out the bottom of the pots, put them in a tray, fill them with the compost, sow 5 seeds in every pot, and see what happens. Next picture, Mick. You see? So they're growing, they've got the roots out there. So I said, okay, it's about time. I will put them out into the tubes. So I fill my tubes with earth, and the mix Mick uses. And then I said, I'll put a little bit more in. Don't dampen it down, wet it a little bit. Make sure the root can touch the earth in the pipes. And I'll try it this way for this year. Yes, Mick? So you see the pots fit in there, and they're a little raised above the pipe because I put earth in. So the pipe, and so the pots really do hit the earth in the pipe. Now, if this is going to work, I don't know. I'm going to have a try of it, but I don't know if it's normally if you plant them or so if you sow them directly into the pipes, the roots don't curl around like they did in the pots. So I really don't know if it's going to work, but I did it. Next picture, Mick. I did it with carrots and parsnips. And my other worry is because all my old pipes were kind of broken and destroyed after 11 years. Somebody bunked some new pipes in me, all length, as you can see in the third barrel at the end. But I didn't cut them in half. Normally I'd cut them in half, use duct tape to keep them whole, to get the carrot out or the parsnip out. So now I'm kind of worried about that a little bit. But I'll see. Yep. See, that's how I fill them with earth before I put the pots in. Then I water it well for 2 days. And then I bumped the carrots and the parsnips in. Yeah, mate. Yeah, that's just how they fit in. So that one needed to take a little earth out, so the pot fits nicely. And the idea of the pot also is, if I water the pot and fill it right to the top of the pot with water 3 times, and then it should slowly sink in. Otherwise, if I water and the water runs off, not a lot of use, because this soil, and I don't know why, this soil is like a crust, and I get it with a lot of potting compost. It either forms a crust on top and you have to break it a little bit before you water it, or it becomes very green. So I don't know why. The potting mix is a good one. It's sieved within an inch of its life, but still goes that weird stuff. Yeah, Mick. See, same again. Roots before I pop them in. Yeah, Mick. This is an experiment. I talked with Mick about a month ago, I think. I said, if they can make those pots to lift out of a pot, they should make them to lift out of the ground. So I took old florist buckets from Aldi Lidl, and then I cut 2 slots in them, and I put a sapomero potato with a little bit of earth. But because it was too cold to put them in the ground already, I put them in the greenhouse. Yummy. You see, just 2 slots. I leave a little bit of reserve ground, a reserve rim on the ground, so I can put soil in there first, and I really stomp it down, and then I put the potato on there. Yeah, Mick? This was a potato that I planted before. It's not a resistant one, because I think to get the biggest potato, you need, I think, a resistance kind so it can keep growing. I'm not like a lot of people in England, a lot of you that grow for showing. I don't use lights. I don't need a finish date. Like, let's say you guys grow, I'll grow for Malvern, I'll grow for Harrogate, I'll grow for whatever show it is, local village show. By that day, it has to be ready. So for me, putting in a sapomera, I can let it grow to the first frost or the end of the year and say, look, I've got this. So this is a variety, an ordinary cooking variety called Artemis, which is a flowery potato that I love. And I put about 20 of them in buckets to use as little potatoes, new potatoes. So they're growing away great youngs. This one I took out and put in one of these pots, just to show how the roots grow up them. And then when I see little potatoes root around in there, get all the little potatoes off, bar 2. 2 I leave on. And those 2 I will leave on every time. And I mark them with little Tipp-Ex. So I know those 2, don't touch them. Take all the other potatoes off and see if I can grow a really big potato. Yeah, Mick? See, and this is the Sapomera one. So it came from the one you saw, the little one outside. So this is one, I put them all inside in buckets now. This bucket goes into another bucket for stabilization and darkness. So this one I topped up. I said, right, I'll have a go at this. I took it out of the other pot, and the compost stays like that. It doesn't fall out, it doesn't crumble out, so it should be good on the way. Yeah, Mick? These are, on the right is the potato bed, on the left is the cauliflower, the cabbage cage, I call it. And these pots are gladioli that are waiting. They're just coming through this week. So what I have to do now these are going to be where I put my tulips before, at the entrance of the gate. So I've got Gladys in there. I left about an 8 centimeter rim of compost that's not filled yet. I've ordered hanging begonias. I'm going to put a begonia tuber in each one, like for the front, but it's a tumbler, the begonias. So I'm going to put them in, and one of those white snow-capped plants. They're flowers, but I don't know the name of it. It's that they kind of spread out during the year, and they form like a snowy white little cap on there. So should be nice. I'll take pictures in a month or two and let you see. Yeah, Mick. This is in the greenhouse. This is lettuce and tomato. So the lettuce is doing really well. The tomato plants you can see in between. And those two long pipes, I'll show you what they are in the next picture. Yeah, Mick. This is like my garden, the long end of it. Where I'm standing is the porch, the entrance. So all the pots you see on the left, on the right-hand side, in front of the tunnel hoops, are all pots that have sunk into the ground with tulips, iris, what's it called? Narcissi, and they can be lifted out and banked to the back of the garden to leave there all year. I'll keep watering them so they can get reflowering, because they should be reflowering tulips. There's the mix is called a Rembrandt. So somewhere on YouTube here I saw that the Rembrandt type is the type that comes back year after year after year for about 7 years, and the others don't. If that's true, I don't know. I'll see. And on the left, towards a polytunnel, the yellow ones are tulips. They're every single color, but the yellow ones came out first. Now they're coming out purple, red. Everything is coming out different colors now. So I'm very pleased with that, and that's the effect I want to get on both sides. So normally on the right side where the tulips are will become the gladioli bed, and then I've got another piece before the entrance of the gate, and that should become the dahlias. At the back of those hoops you see, I'll try to put dahlias as well, but all the ones from seed. In the front you've got strawberries, then there are strawberries, garlic and shallots, and then onions, I think. But you'll see them in next pictures. Yes, Vic. These are tomato plants that are already out. The tomato plants are the cherry kind. And I don't know why. I think it's just the type of tomato it is. But these always grow much, much faster, much taller than an ordinary tomato. Like, let's say, a tomato that gets bigger in size than the cherry. And you can see that there are 4 square pots. Those 4 have now gone out already with a cover on them. They are 2 giant pumpkins and 2 other giant pumpkins. The orange giant pumpkins I got from Actila, somebody from Hungary, and they should be whoppers. Should be, I'll say, but they're orange. And the other 2 are from my own stock from last year, which got to 315 kilos, but that's a white skinned one. So I bunked them out this week with a 5-liter bottle of water on top of them. You cut a hole in the bottom of the bottle and stick them on top like a greenhouse, just for a bit of protection. These then are on the right, the spring onions. Then you've got the parsley, and then the pots in the blue tray are what I call my trio. There's always sweet pea, there's always one sweet corn, and always a sunflower. Why? Because the sweet pea can then climb up the sweet corn or the sunflower. So they're in there for about 2 more weeks, I think, and then I can put them out. The three tubs you see with tomatoes next to the blue tray, the one in the gray pot, well, brown pot, is a tomato, the only seed I had left of the resistant kind, Crimson Crush, I think. And then there are two ordinary tomatoes. So the idea is I will put those three outside next to each other in a group and see if it's truly blight resistant outside. So I'll let you know about that a few months time as well. Yes, Mick. In this bed, that's spinach, but furthest from the bottom of the picture. Well, hang on, I'll start again. These are leeks, winter leeks that I've sown, two kinds, below zero and musselburgh. So they're growing away. They're much better now because we've had a bit of rain. We haven't had rain for about 3 weeks. So the watering is never the same as the rain. Now they're much greener, much lusher. Then you've got the spinach, the rows. And from the back, the 1, 2, 3, 4 rows in between the spinach are filled. I've sown salsify. And then the other rows are going to be taken up by parsnips. But I want to wait because I want to see if I can get parsnips for Christmas, but the little ones. Not those big stonking ones, I want little ones. So I said I'll wait and sow them instead of May time. I'll sow them in July and see what happens. Because I prefer the little parsnips to the big ones. So I'll see what happens with that. Okay, Mick? See, that is my gate and the entrance to the gate. And all these pots, they're 15 pots. They're going to be put at the back as soon as they finish flowering. But the first thing that came out of there were the narcissi. There was lovely colors in there, really good. But then the tulips take over. So as soon as they have stopped flowering, you can see in there little violets. They were put in September, and they're still flowering, the orange ones. I'll try and get seeds from these, but that's where I need somebody's help. If I collect the seeds, and answer it after I finish, please. When I collect the seeds, I'll dry them. I've done it before, but I don't know when to sow this variety because I want to sow them, put them back for next year, let's say November. But when do I sow them? How do I sow them? When to sow to keep them all year? I don't know. So if anybody knows, let me know afterwards. Then they get put all to the back of the polytunnel next to the raspberries. I keep them watered as well a bit so they can re-energize for next year. And in there are going 22 pots of dahlias. The dahlias I've sown. So they're going in there. At the back will go sweet peas so they can climb the fence. And in front will go the white snow carpet and 2 marigolds. So that's why I need bigger pots. So I've asked Aldi to keep the very tall pots. So I can put a lot of earth in there, and at the bottom I can put some cow manure, half rotted cow manure and half rotted compost. Yes, Nick? This. I didn't know what this was. On my carrot bed, I covered it with the Enviromesh. So when I went to water the carrots, I looked and this was absolutely covered, about 100 of them in there, of these flies. And they're slow reacting. So I can actually take one, put it on the plastic, because on the nets you couldn't make out. The camera focused on the net instead of on the little thingy. So I said, all right, pick it up, put it on a piece of plastic, ask Mick what it is. Mick didn't recognize it, I didn't recognize it, nobody did. And then 2-3 days ago on allotment group, somebody said, oh, what's this? Look at this. And I looked and it was the same. So I put in following closely. And somebody said it's a thorn. What was it? Thorn fly? Or a hornbeam fly. That's it. So I said, okay, so I know what it is now, and it's not something that comes out of the sky. It's something that lays its egg in the ground, but it's not harmless to any plants. It says on Wiki. So I said, okay, so I know what it is now. But I thought it was the carrot root fly that came out of the ground because I put carrots in there last year as well. So I said, that's carrot root fly. I said, oh no, I've had it, but it's not that. Okay, Mick. These are the chili plants, the same ones I had that I sent the seeds to Paul to. They're in pots, 3 of them, and 1 in full ground. And as you can see, they're already in bud. They've got little buds. That was Tuesday. I took the picture, so should be opening soon, I think. Yeah, Mick? All right, this is a raised bed, little ones, 1 meter square by 1 meter square. Under there, you can see just a line on the front, and that's chicken wire, but the small one to keep ratty out, so I can put sweet potatoes in there. In there, there are going 3 sweet potato plants that I grew myself, two on each corner at the back, 1 on the corner nearest the picture. On the other corner is going a courgette plant, so it could droop over the side for courgettes. And in the middle is going a little tripod of canes, and in there they're going to be sweet pea, and then the pots that have grown sweet corn, sweet pea, and sunflower in. So that's just for decoration, but with the sweet potatoes in there, I said I need to put something else in there, or it's just going to be green. Okay. This is my cabbage cage. On the left side are cauliflowers. The second row is spring cabbage. Then at the back, I have a row of brassica, broccoli. And there's 1 row left at the back that I haven't filled. And that's going to be where my sprouting, early sprouting broccoli goes. Because it's high, I said I'll put it right at the back, so it doesn't bother anything else. And in the first line, you see the cauliflowers and the spring cabbage. There's 1 line closer to me that's not filled yet, and there are going my Brussels sprouts, so I can get easily at them in the winter time. I don't have to traipse all over this. Also in there are going to be going other. I've sown cauliflowers now, so these are the second crop of cauliflowers that you see on the left. The first group I'll show you later on. So now we're going to go in the second row of cauliflowers as soon as they're ready. Then a red cabbage, Savoy cabbage, and then a late variety of cauliflower that I can harvest in December. And where the first cauliflowers are now, the row on the left, are going to go the overwintering cauliflower called Alsmeer that I will show you in a minute. In here, the only thing I've done is when I got the garden, I dug this out 30 centimeters, so 1 foot deep, removed all the earth, got 11 barrel loads of horse manure, put that in there, put the earth back on top, put cow manure, horse manure on top. Then I put old newspapers, soaked them, put them on top of that. And then I put the straw on there, but it's not really straw, it's horse muck, but with a hell of a lot of straw in it. And this seems bone dry, and the garden was bone dry. But when you take the straw away, make it dry, it's really still moist and nice, but also very cold. We tested the ground on 15 different places in the garden last Tuesday when I was there. And me and a friend did my garden and his front garden, and the soil temperature is 6 Celsius. So they're not really getting away yet, but they've started this week because it is getting warmer at night as well. So the ground is warming up a little bit. Next picture, Mick. Now this is the potato cage again, and I did what Nigel does. So at the back, you can see a row of green buckets, the 25-liter buckets. So I dug them in, put potato in the bottom, earthed them up, and said, I'll see what happens. So that's what I'm hoping I can lift out and put in the greenhouse in December. Cut them all off. They're all Sarcomera. That's the only kind I grow. So I'm going to see what happens. In front is a mixture of flowers, just the foxgloves. There are a few, what's it called? Now the wallflowers. So wallflowers, Dahlias are in there, and Alliums as well. Yep, next one. These are the taggets I'm growing to put in the pots, the marigolds. And these are the little snow carpet thingies. That's third sowing of them that I do. And I just take out the plug, put it in the ground, and that's it. Yeah, Mick? Right, I think this is the run through of the beds. So that's the first bed. The 2 poles you can see are to rest my bike against when I get into the garden. Then you've got strawberries, which are in flower now. Then a mix. Those are 2 pots that I can lift out and put something else in. Yes, Mick? These are the sweet potatoes that I started off in December, if you remember. They're nice, and the roots are really getting root bound now. So I hope I can still keep them 14 days with extra feed before I plant them out for the cold. Yeah, Mick? See, that's the same look again. That's the kind of look I'm going for, but next year I need a kind of an orange or a dark red tulip to put in there. Yeah, Mick? That's the second bed, that's the shallots. At the back end is the garlic. And in front are 3 elephant garlic bulbs. They've been kept covered since I planted them in early February with the Enviromesh to try and keep the allium leaf miner out. If it'll work, I hope so, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Mick? This is my attempt at big onions. I hope they're going good, but I can't get as far as you, Lotta, because I don't use grow lights or heat or anything. They're just sown in there, then potted on every time. But I think these first 2 must be leeks. So they have to be leeks from last year because I didn't sow leeks this year. So I don't know if they're pot leeks or giant leeks or just leeks. I don't know. But they've got the flat leaves instead of the other ones. But I'm going to make supports for these this week. These are 3 chili peppers. 3 chili peppers. And the last pot you can see is what's it called? we call them Cape gooseberry. So that's 3 Cape gooseberry plants in there that I will bung out in end of May, I think. But you don't get gooseberries from the Cape gooseberries here, the fruits you get about September, October here. They're very, very sweet, but it's a plant that goes absolutely crazy. It's the biggest bush plant you've ever seen. Yeah, Mick? These are the white. You can see one in the middle that has a flower already, and they grow high. And then when you plant them out, all of a sudden they flop over, and they start covering an area about 10 inches wide, and they're all kind of little flowery carpet things. Yeah. These are the strawberries inside. These are pots of strawberries that I leave outside all winter, and then I put them in the greenhouse the 1st of January, and I just let them do their thing. And the biggest strawberry I have there now is about a pound point piece. And I just water them, but I need a feed to put them in, and I don't know what to put in there. What kind of feed? Is it seaweed, liquid fish, comfrey, anything? So if anybody has any ideas what I should feed them with now, whilst they're flowering, give me an idea at the end. Yes, thank you. Right. If you want to talk long carrots and long parsnips, it's something I've had an idea about. I don't know if it will work or not. So one of the long carrots I put in there, I filled it with mixed earth, mixed sieve, earth, turf, and a mix I got from Mick a few years ago, a blue box that was for parsnip feed and carrot feed. I watered it, I put it in water, made a solution of it, and feed it. So here I taped closed the end of the pipe, and there's kind of a line you can see on the one on the parsnip. You can see a bit of gray on the right, just in front of the duct tape, and that from there till the end of the pipe here, where the duct tape ends, is hollow. So what I do to water is, I fill up the whole thing here with water every time I go into the greenhouse, every day, 2 times a day. So the water can slowly slide down the tubes and end up at the end there. At the end, I put an upside down turned flower pot, shoved it in there, duct taped it, so I can see if the water starts running out. Then I say, okay, ease off on the water, and the earth can't slip out of there as well. So big experiment. If it'll work, okay. If it doesn't, okay. And those pipes, they're 3 meters long. So if I get anything that comes out of the end, I will be very surprised. Okay. That's the whole of the cabbage cage, just to show you how I do it. On the that's old fishing net, shrimping net, we call it, to go shrimping in sea. And then alongside, because I had trouble like this a few years ago, and not last year, a few years ago, I made the cover like this, put in all the brassicas, and they still got caterpillars on. So I said, how the hell can the caterpillars don't get in there? I never see a caterpillar in there. So how come I still got caterpillars in? And then I sat and watched, and the caterpillars go to the edge where the white stuff is or the green stuff is now. They go to the edge. The leaf of the cabbage or whatever it is in there pushes against the nets. The cabbage white butterfly sits on the net and can still lay the eggs on the leaves. So I said, not this year. So I put that across there. So normally caterpillar cannot get this, whatever it is, end to it, to lay the eggs on there. So I'll see if that works or not. Yeah, mate. That's it.
Jeffrey, I'm a star.
Thank you.
I've tried this one this end. As you can see, I've tried to make a little card where I've even. Right, Dave, this worked. Oh, that's good. Jeffrey, excellent as normal.
Thank you.
Right, people, if you got any questions for him, come on in.
Jeffrey, Nigel.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, Nigel.
Yes, Nigel.
On the long parsnip and carrot,
Yes.
have you split the drain pipe? The rain pipe?
No.
There's a guy on YouTube called Terry King. He grows them in a very similar way.
Yeah.
If you have a look at his channel, and I think they also maybe think about drilling holes halfway down and bung them up with a cork and just take the cork out to water, so you don't have to flood it from the top.
Ah,
So you can
okay.
partially water halfway down rather than flood it all the way down.
Ah, okay. The holes I can still make, but the
Yeah.
splitting is going to be next year.
So is
Or
it
at
interesting
the
to
end
get
of the
out?
year. Or if at the end of the year when I try to get them out and I can't get them out, I've got a mate who's got what's it called? A grinder.
Oh right, yeah.
But I'll see if I can use, because it's a little one. It's only, the disc is only about 3 inches long, 3 inches wide
Yes.
across. So I'll try and use that if it's possible. But
Okay.
I tried to saw a drain pipe in half with an iron
Jigsaw.
saw.
Have you tried the jigsaw?
No, I've tried the line saw and it doesn't work because it hits the pipe of the iron, the crossbar of the saw.
Right.
So I said, can't do this. So I'll see for next year.
Try
But
it with
next
a
year I
jigsaw.
can use his little grinder.
A jigsaw or angle grinder will do it.
Angle grinder will be your best bet.
Yeah.
You know your white plant.
Yeah.
I've got 2 suggestions. Is it Bacopa
No, it's not Bacopa.
or
hang on.
Arabis?
I think it's Arabis. I'm not sure.
Arabis makes a huge. I think it's an alpine plant.
Yeah, it looks like it. We've got it in purple as well, and I think I've got seeds here somewhere
Yeah.
of the purple kind, but I'm not sure. You should feel my desk. Oh my god.
But Arabis makes a mound, and you get a perfect white flower all over it. It's quite.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's it. I'm not sure, but it's very lovely, and you don't have to take care of it. You just water it, and it creeps
like-
around.
Takes care of itself. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you want to pull it out at the end when it's done flowering, it's like this wide, and when
Yeah.
you look for the root, you lift it up, and there's that much, really that
Fine.
much root, and the rest is just spread out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's really nice flower.
Hard working plant. That's right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Anybody else?
Jeffrey, you mentioned your strawberries, feed wise.
Yeah.
Exactly the same as Tom's. Need a potash.
Yeah.
Ah,
Best
Something
tomato
like-
feed.
okay.
Normal tomato feed.
Yeah, I'll get it from Comfrey Hill.
Yeah, that's all you need. Any more questions for Jeffrey?
Mhm.
Okay, then. So if Mick allows, in a month or 2, I'll do an update.
Just a quickie, Jeffrey, before you go.
Yeah.
You put on about putting the tomatoes out. What sort of overnight temperatures are you getting there?
2
Oh,
C.
yeah.
That's why normally this time of year we get about 6s and 7s,
Yeah.
and the polytunnel as well. We have to close it at night, and I put the giant what's it called, pumpkins out. So I said I can't keep them in the pot anymore because they were going yellow. So I fed them with liquid seaweed, then fed them with horse milk liquid. Then no, said just and they need the ground to put their roots down.
You put
So-
fleece over anything.
The fleece over the carrots, over the parsnips, and fleece over the ordinary carrots I sowed,
Is that what
and and on the pumpkins, I put a bottle. You know, I don't know if you've got them there. There's a 5-liter bottle of water, and they're about a foot and a half high, and about half a foot square at the bottom. So I cut out the bottom, unscrew the top, and bung them over the plants. It works well, but normally I don't have to do it for pumpkins or anything. But this year I need, because like today was full sun, blue sky, really great till you get outside. You have to put on your winter jacket, a scarf, and a hat to take a walk. It's just unbelievable this year. I don't think but I certainly have not known it take that long to warm up. Because normally first of May we always have a big parade here. Of course with Corona you can't. But I've never done the May parade in a jacket. We've always done it
It's
in
the
t-shirts.
coldest spring for 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't go. It's not. It's like not normal, and you can really feel the people having effect of this because it's just too long cold.
Just started raining here. Hooray.
Jeffrey, can I ask the question, what size pots do you use for your dahlias,
Please.
please?
I sowed them in plugs. Then I put them into 3-inch pots,
Yeah.
and then normally from the 3-inch pots I can put them on into the tubs that I use into the buckets.
Oh, we've lost you.
3-inch pots go into tubs.
Normally I don't have to put them on.
Are these the tall dahlias, Jeffrey, or the low growing ones?
Both,
Those, all right.
because the ones from seed are all about
We're losing
the
him, aren't we?
maximum height they get.
it's
The
good.
seeds I sent you, the
We've
maximum
lost
height is about 2 foot.
Yeah.
But I've got Dahlia tubers in there that I've got from tubers, and they go about 1 meter high.
Yeah.
They're about the same size as the Gladys. So it's all a mix. And I love the single dahlias more than I do the big flowery ones.
Yeah. I've got a load of plants that I'm growing from your seed. They're still in the greenhouse, but they're 4 or 5 inches high. They look quite healthy.
Yeah.
I don't put them out yet.
No, same. I'm not putting. I normally don't put out anything that isn't hardy. I never put out before the 11th of May,
Yeah.
because normally here they say we've got the ice kings, ice coolings, and they should leave the country on 11 May. Normally it says there's no frost possible after 11th of May, but this year I'm not sure there won't be.
Well, I don't know. I can remember a frost in June.
Yeah?
Yeah.
David, did you get that about your question about the size pots? 3.5-inch pots into tubs.
Not really, we got a confusion with the internet
Yeah.
breakdown there on the speech.
Yeah, it's about a 3-inch pot, 3.5-inch pot. But
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
the plants straight out into the tubs that they got to go into.
Yeah,
Big pots. What size are the big pots he puts them in?
Oh, the buckets from Aldi and from Lidl, where they
Yeah.
put the cut flowers in at the checkouts.
Oh, yeah.
They're them.
Uh,
That's
About
them.
11-litre pot.
right. Oh, I've got them. Thank you. Thank you
That's
very
all right.
much, Jeffrey.
No problem.
Lovely, Jeffrey. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Did
Bye.
you?
Been a star.
Thanks.
Nigel Coper on this for me during the week. Chili eating contest.
Oh,
Who'd like that? Glenn, if you're watching this, you'd love that.
Bring it on.
You can eat any chili and he don't do any harm. Yeah, right. This is Lizzie's plot in Cardiff. Nice to see raised beds. Yes, look at that. Sun's out nice and flat as well. You look at. Oh, Colin, door. You got delivery.
Excellent.
I couldn't get on. Right, Demetrius is a good lad. I inspired him to get raised beds, and he's that's another one. Now he's from Atlanta, Georgia, in the States, so getting popular.
Mm.
Right, Jeffrey mentioned earlier on, we were looking at flies, trying to identify the one he got, and I found this one. This is our own favourite in the Midlands, Allium leaf miner. This is the little chap that bores into your alliums. So if you see that little chap, I don't know what size it is. I hope he ain't that bloody size. Right, this is Andy Street. He's the mayor of the West Mids, and our Ben did a drawing for him. And luckily, it's in the background, so he got that on ITV. Got a mate John from Taunton. You know someone in growth technology, and I'm sending me some samples out to try. So we'll give them a go. And finally, I got me right up in the Express Star. It took them long enough. This is online, obviously. Nobody has the paper anymore, but at least I got a little mention there. My best shirt as well. Steve, you mentioned last week, I'm sure it was you, about the Welsh seedling. If you want the seeds for next year, Select Seeds do them. I had a packet off them myself.
Thanks, mate.
No problem. Taking the hound for a walk during the week. Nettles have just started growing again. Obviously, that's the old growth from last year. But this is the time now I start collecting the nettles. Obviously, before they go to seed. While I'm in new growth. Loads of purposes. Compost ingredient, making your own tea and all. Colin, you're going to be a pain in the arse during the night. I've just dropped it off here because you're boring. Right, next one. Jerry, are you on tonight? Fruit Jerry.
Yeah, he is. I've seen him.
Oh, yeah.
He might be muted. Oh, well, he should be here.
No, it should be here. This is Mark's plot on side, his raspberries. He don't know whether there was summer or winter. But as you can see, he's got growth on here. And he's also got new growth on the bottom. I'm just going to ask Jerry, what does he do, or just does he let it go?
He's not on now, mate.
Nah. I'll find that out for next week anyway, just in case somebody else is in the same situation as well. Right, little boxes, I'll keep them. Why? Because I've sent out me winners of the rock dust last week. In fact, I've had an email and he thought he got thought he'd won a pie when he unwrapped it. So them two are ready for whoever wins this.
Yeah.
Can you see the wheel going round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we can, Mick.
Right.
Come on, I'm feeling
Stop.
lucky tonight.
If this works, I'm going to run around the room naked.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. For God's
Start
sake.
bloody balking.
What's the dog go by, yeah?
Is that going round?
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
God for
missed
that.
it.
Bloody Nora.
We even got
you,
Sorry,
Oh,
bastard.
man.
Oh,
Gavin, you cool dude.
Con.
Good man. Right, one more.
Come on, I'm feeling lucky.
You're feeling lucky, I am.
I am. I'll grab some luck these day and age.
Oh.
Mm.
Nigel, he treads in some
Not
manure,
good.
don't he?
No, just cold.
Again.
going off here.
he's second in the leg to Paul.
Right then. Right, my gladioli cormlets. Most of them have come through. These are outside under cover. So that wall obviously is protecting them from a frost. Plus they got a lid on. The only ones that haven't come through was my little trims, Lady Ellen. This was same treatment as all the other pots, all the others spurted, except this one. I thought, have I done something wrong? Have I knackered them up? Did I plant the bloody things? So I'm going to slowly, without trying to disturb anything too much, just have a nose. And finally, I'll come across a shoot. So I earth them back up again. This is in the cold greenhouse. So at least I know that they are coming through. So he'll stay in the cold greenhouse for a bit. This is potting on sprouts we mate Gav. As you can see, white roots on the bottom telling me pop me on, and that's what I did. So I've done 2 for him there, and in the background you can see the carrots. I'll get an update on these next week when they were sown and whatever. For when Gav comes up, I've got some sweet corn, sprouts, and a tub of leeks to back with him. Right, my blanch leeks. These I'm having extended collars put on. Obviously, they're the collars they've got on now. So there's a 4-inch jump. So that's a 17 by 23. So the 17 is going on first, which is the length of that one there. Don't forget the back row are blanch leeks. Blanch meaning white. That's why they got the collars on. Keeps the sunlight off them so it turns them white, not green. If there were no collar on, it'd be a whitey, greeny blanch. But I want to whiten. So that'll draw it up, making a longer blanch of white. Although there's a while to go yet. These I don't want them that high because they're the intermediates and they will keep these collars on permanent. So that's the one that come off, 10 to 13 I started off. So they started off with a 10-inch and the 13-inch is coming off now. Right, this was 3 days before I checked these. So that just shows you the growth in 3 days because I haven't pulled these leeks through and placed them over the what. So that's how much is grown in 3 days. And that's just showing you everything is warming up. Might not think so. Like today, with the sun, it was beautiful. But when that sun went in, it was a bloody cold wind. Because I'm getting larger rolls, I'm having a bigger length of this Velcro just to hold them in. That's just taken a collar off just to show you how straight it is, because I've also got a cane on the side of that, so when the collar is on I keep that. If I know this is upright, then I know that leek's going to go upright as well, or as upright as you can get it, like it is there. Once it has done, the straws put round it, the straws taken out, as we can see there. The collar is pushed right down to ground level and then is strawed round again, and then it all gets a good soaking. And the old collars I've taken off, them are dried and stored back in the shed again. So you can see the jump they've had there. So all the flags or leaves will be checked once a week. Make sure them are helped over there. So them are looking good. So I've got my exhibition shallots at the back. These are my 8 ounce, my tough ball. And pickling shallots are in that one. Right, Gladys, these are my 3rd lot that are going out. When these are in flower, if anybody else is growing them, when you get them in flower, just put your photos on here on display. Just send me the photos. I mean, this is our Zoom. If you grow them, flaunt it. So I've got to strip these off. Taking the old skins off. You see the roots telling you, plant me out. He's telling you. That's all skin. Them lot will go in the green bin. Any duffins, they'll go straight in the bin as well. Like he don't look very well, so he goes straight in the bin. Back down the plot again. 3 days we've had somebody else drop wood chip off. Good lad. What we want. Right, so my first lot went in there, my Gladys. Second lot was about the last third. And next bed I'm using these. So I've got my 3 trays of Gladys. I've got my vermiculite and my top dressing, which is my straw once I've gone out. This is my rabbit muck, don't forget, rabbit muck straw. So the top's taken off, and if we can zoom in on there, don't forget end of the season, when this is emptied, it is then top dressed with rabbit muck plus the spent tops, and you can just about make the spent tops there. But all I'm doing, there's no disturbance whatsoever, I'm planting straight through. There's no turning over, nothing. I don't want it disturbed. So I'll put my 3 lines in, don't forget these are 4 foot wide beds. Spacing them is, I don't know, 8-10 inches, something like that. But that's what I use for me measure. The top cover, that is dried out, folded up, and that is put away with everything else.
Is it Blackpool now?
So I've got all my holes out. There's vermiculite put in each hole. Then the corms are put in on these. This is only about 4 inches deep, but don't forget, when they do come through, and I know which way they're pointing and whatever, they will then have a cane up against them. Because they're not very deep enough for them to stand up on their own. So if you can't be bothered using canes or anything, just plant them deeper. And then obviously that's earth back up again, top dressed. Then all I need to do is top dress it with my rabbit muck. Now luckily, the night I put that in, it rained during the night, so I never bothered to water. And luckily that was right for the change, and it did work. Bit more colour now these have opened up on the back garden. But a nice display. Right, when Jeffrey sent me his photos ready for this talk earlier on during the week, I thought that's a good idea, because I was thinking of Caroline when I give her, if you remember that tub I had from Wilco, a bucket inside of a bucket, same, but the weight of it is going to be too heavy for her. So I'm going to do another one myself. But the thing is with these, because I've had these pots for bloody moons, they're more brittle, meaning they're more to cut. So if you can get a newish pot, or one that hasn't been out in the sunlight for yonks, then it's not going to be so brittle. It'll be nice and supple. And I did find one to try it, and I cut through scissors. It's clean as a whistle. But there's only there's this size. Nigel, yes mate.
Just a quickie, Mick. I did something similar to that a long while ago. And what I did, I got an old wallpaper scraper, put it on the gas stove, got it hot, it goes through like butter. It cuts it the slot out dead easy.
Oh, that's an idea. Oh,
Soldering iron.
Oh, I've got a soldering iron. It's only a little ferret.
Wife.
So I did my hole. I thought, nah, that ain't big enough. That's better. So I widened it a bit. Just to start off, if you've got a sharp knife, that goes straight in easily. So that's my end product, but I took the 4 sides out. But he fits in snugly into this, as we can see there. So he's fitting nice into that. This brew here is a mixture of rabbit muck, spent ops, and shredded goat muck. So that is a bloody good brew, and that's what's good in my tater mix. If a spud don't grow in that, it ain't gonna grow in nothing. Look at that. You could eat that now.
Ugh.
Paul, you've got your 7.5 litre pot. That's what I'm using for these. I've still got tater spurting at the bottom of me. Nice. Zoom in on him. Nice dark green short shoots. You don't want them leggy. That's why I've been kept out of the sun. Or there ain't much sun that does get on them. That's what I'm using. So I'll get my compost mixture ready, bung it in, bung 1 tater in. fill him up. Spud, put the date on. Steve, yes mate.
What spuds are they, Mick?
I can't remember this one. Those leftovers.
Right, mate.
If I think before the end, I'll let you know. Right, anybody recognise that flower? When I looked at this close, I saw, look at him. He looks huge, he's only bloody green fly. There's his offspring there. Obviously I splatted them after I took this photo. But it was this little chap. He looks exactly, this is what Keith sent us. Solanum from the potato family. If you look at him again, potato flowers when you get your taters. That's what the chap looked like. So looking after him.
Oh.
Right, our second guest speaker. Yes, was any questions on my gump?
Try and watch.
Second guest speaker tonight, Nigel or Muddybootz from Wolverhampton. You ready, Nigel?
I'm ready.
Good man.
By the way.
Yours, mate. Thank you, Nigel.
Right. This is a few photographs of what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks on the meal allotment and that. All my potatoes this year and last year, I've grown them in 30-litre buckets. First and second, I put 4 in the bucket, 2 on the bottom and 2 up a bit higher. And for main crop, I just put 2 in. And these are Charlotte potatoes ready to go out. If you look closely, they all are like fine hairs on the spruts as them coming up. And I'd never really noticed them before until I took a close-up photo. But so them are actually gone out in the buckets now, covered in straw. Okay, Mick, next one. To clear the potato bed, I've got some leeks in there, and these was some musselburgh. Now I do 2 sowings of leeks. I do early one, and the next one I sow probably at the end of this month. And I find the second sowing misses the allium leaf, mind of the second batch of them. And that I fetched them up, I think it might have been last week, they come out the ground. And most of them, we've had a lot of leek and potato soup and that, but I just dry them off like that, stick them in the blue mushroom box and put them in the garden shed in the dark, and they store for quite well. Okay, next one. These are me shallots, golden gourmet. Them are, it's cruelty really. Them should have gone out ages ago, but the ground was terrible and cold. And when I fetched them out, the roots had actually killed around them square cells. Them are 24 cell trays. So what I did, I fetched them out, teased some of the roots out, dug the hole, and I put mycorrhizal on them and put them in, and them flying away now in the ground in a week. And it's amazing the difference that's made, just the extra week being in normal ground. Next one, and that's the there the planted out, 4 rows of 12, so I've got 48 in altogether. Next, that's the one part of me onion bed. There's 3 beds. This is the first half. The nearest facing here is the shallots, so they're my golden gourmet. In the middle there is that's my garlic, and that's a variety called Marco. They've been in since, oh, I can't remember when I planted them there. I think it was before Christmas, I put them in. And behind them, I got some onion sets, and a variety called Shakespeare. And them looking at them thickening. I had a look today. They've thickened up quite well. So all in all, them are looking quite good. The bed to the right, and there's another one the same size. Them are ready for planting out more or less. I'll give them a top dressing with superphosphate probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'll get it a light raking in with a 5-prong tiller, and I won't touch them now till the onions are ready to go out in there. Next, there's my onions, some of my onions to go out. That number 1 there, that's a Robinson's Mammoth. I've got some of them. I've got some Kelsey in there, and I've got some Robinson's Mammoth Red as well. Them are the onion supports like Mick showed us. I've used a little bit of thicker wire, and I made a little jig out of a broom handle with a screw in it. If you go on my YouTube channel, a video or two ago, I've showed you how I bend them, and they'll last for years, I will. But I do find them good. Next one. That there's a lovely daffodil. It's a variety called Tahiti. Now, I was at Malvern show a few years ago, and I bought these bulbs. I could never find where there was, and last August, September, Malvern threw a quick show on. It wasn't called the autumn show, it was called something else, but it only for a couple of days. And anyway, I went, and there was a company there called Hearts Nurseries, and I'd actually got them, and I bought some more. And what I've done, I've done a little revamp in the garden, in my back garden this year. I've got rid of my pond. So in anticipation, I bought quite a lot of these daffodils, put them in big buckets, and then they was actually in the cowl frame. I've left them in there all winter, and they flowered, and they'll end up in my back garden eventually. So that's a Tahiti, it's called the daffodil. These are my carrots. I've got 6 of these tanks. These usually in the loft space of your roof for the central heat and the overflow tanks, the main water tanks, and that's how I do my carrots. It's fine sifted soil in there normally. About every 3 years I completely empty these, and I put a good layer of either rotted horse manure or rotted cow manure for about the first 6 inches. Then I sift the compost and put it in. But when I come to planting time, I bore the holes out. I actually put, if you look at the top right hand corner, there's a metal grid, and I've just placed that on top and pop the dibber through each hole, and it spaces the holes out perfectly. And for the mixture, I normally Levington's F2 plus S for the sand, but the back way. But for the last year and this year, I've used my own worm compost. I've sieved it, added vermiculite, and I've had the germination has been amazing. The only issue I've found with the worm compost, it does take a long while to dry out. So what I'm doing it now, I'm getting trays out, seed trays out, fetching them out probably 1 or 2 a week, and just sticking them in the greenhouse and letting them dry. Then when they're almost bone dry, I'm sticking them into a compost bag, putting them in the shed. But I do find that is an excellent way for seed sowing. And there's no bricks or nothing in it. It's really good fine stuff. Just add a touch of vermiculite, and I've had really good germination with it. Next. That there's my back garden, and the pond here was 30 years old, and that thing there with the metal cage, my bird feed, I've had to put that round, stop the pigeons and magpies going onto the tray. But behind it, you can see a tree, and in that there is a Japanese maple, an Acer. Well, I'll say this setup is 30 years old, and eventually it's got bigger and bigger, and it's punctured the butyl liner. So the pond was getting, the level kept dropping. And I was in 2 minds trying to fix it, and I thought, no, I'm going to get rid of it. So in the end, I decided the pond had got to go. So I went in there with my wellies, got my garden fork and bodged holes in the bottom, and it gradually drained and drained and drained. It left a lovely silt in the bottom, about a foot thick. And I've dug all that out and used it on the beds. It's fantastic soil. It is really good stuff. Next. So there's me digging the stuff out the bottom. And as I say, that's done. I've put that on the beds and in the compost bins. It's really nice stuff. A lot of silt. Next. And that's when I was finished. I was just ready for a glass of beer there. It was hard work digging all that out, but well worth it in the end. And that's the finished article. I got a bloke in to come and lay some paving. Originally, I was going to put a shed against the fence, but from about 9 o'clock until about 3 o'clock, that gets full sun. So I'm in 2 minds whether to put one of these big cantilever umbrellas up and put a table and chairs there or something. And looking at the back there on the fence, you can see me mesh. There's the two meshes I use for my spacings and my carrots. But if you move to the right slightly, you'll see a little gate. And if you open that, you pop out onto my allotment plot. Next one, Vic. This is my cold frame made out of builder's planks. It was originally, it was twice the length of that. It was a guy who was on our side and he sadly passed away, a really good gardener. So as a tribute to him, I asked for the planks. Somebody wanted the planks to make raised beds. So rather than strip the down, we cut the cold frame in half, and I've moved that as a memory to this guy. He helped me a lot when I first moved onto the allotment, and I thought it'd be a nice tribute to keep it going. If you look on the back and sides, you'll see some holes in round circular things. And what I've done there, I've put in little plastic circular vents. You sometimes see them in soffits underneath the roofs, and I've popped them in there. And if you look down near to the bottom, you can just about see the discs there. There's two in the back, two in the front, and one on each side. And if you look on the right-hand side, Mick, the right-hand side, you'll see a little plastic cover. And I've just screwed that in, a bit of window board, and I can spin that on that screw, lift it up and let the air in or out. And it's like the front one's actually open. If you look at the front right one, that's it there. You can see it open, yeah. So that's my coal frame. And so that was originally full of the buckets with the daffodils in it, and now it's got the onions and brassicas in. Next one. That's an aerial shot, and the brassicas along the bottom. I've got cabbage, cauliflowers, Brussels sprouts. What else have we got? Kohlrabi. Along the back row, there's the Kelsey, Robinson's Mammoth, Robinson's Red. In the centre part, just under the bar, them 4 trays there. There's a few onion sets. I think Red Ray's one. Red Baron's another one. And slot into on the same centre row, but the 2 to the right, them are my Zabroon Shallots. I've done a few trays single sown, and I've done a few trays multi sown. Now, because these normally would have been had them probably out anytime now, they're going to be not leggy but long. So I've actually cropped them 3 times, cut them down with a pair of scissors to about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches high, and it thickens them up, and they're still growing. And finally, in the top corner, we got the 2, 3. There's 3 tubs of Leeks. There's 1 Golden Gourmet and 2 called Leon. That's my coal frame. And that's my worm bin, just giving them some food, fetched the carpet up, and that was there, and we're waiting. Now I'm normally an early riser. I'll get to bed early, 10 o'clock-ish, and I'll get up anytime. Well, my body clock wakes me up, usually the blackbird singing. But I woke up the other morning, it was 4 o'clock, and I opened my toilet window, and that there is looking over our allotment plot. And that was the picture I got. And so I got my phone, took that photograph, and within 15 minutes of me taking, I took that about 4:15 in the morning. Within 15 minutes, it's amazing how the light changes. And if you click on the next photo, Mick, and that's what we've got there. And that glow in the greenhouse, believe it or not, is a candle. When we've got any frost at night, I've got plants just off the floor. And what I do, if you go into somewhere, I think it's Home Bargains, they sell these like pillar candles, about 3-inch diameter, and they're probably about 6 or 8 inches high. And I'll put one of them in, light it of a night, about 8 o'clock, and that burns all through the night. And I think it burns for about 50, 60 hours. And that's enough just to take the chill off the air and keep the plants ticking over. But it's amazing how much light that candle gives off. It's actually lit the greenhouse up, as you can see. And so that was probably took about 4:30, that was.
Nigel, you're a star.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Nigel.
Right, questions for our Nigel?
Well
Nick.
done, Nigel.
Nick, go on. Nick, you have your hand up. Nigel Cole, you have. Nigel. Unmute yourself, Nigel.
Yeah, how's that?
Got you.
Yeah, Nigel. Every year when I grow onions and down on our allotment, I rotate them round. Obviously, different sort of bit of ground every year. But I always grow them from sets, and they set off pretty well, and then they seem to slow down and get very, very curly sort of leaves on them, and then they sort of don't grow too well for probably about a month, and then suddenly they take off again and grow out of it. Any idea what it is?
Is there any spots on any streaks or anything in the?
No, they're clean as a whistle, mate. Lovely and green. It's just the leaves sort of spiral.
What have you fed the soil at all, or have you put any?
It's had sort of mushroom compost on it over the years and manure and stuff, you know.
So it's nothing too rich, nothing to burn them.
I wouldn't have thought so. It's not just my plot; it's all over the whole of the site.
Anybody? Any ideas, Mick? Nick?
Can I just quickly ask on that? Are they like piglets' tails, curly, not that?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah,
that's normally onion fly.
Yeah,
that's what
I have it every year. I have it every year and I leave it. And
that's what I've done. I've left it.
What sort of time of year? The grown outside. What sort of time of year do you get it?
Well, they're at the moment the sets are about. I've put the sets in, and they're about sort of 2 or 3 inches high at the moment. I'll be expecting it probably end of May time, early June for about a month, and then they'll grow out of it.
Sounds like the allium leaf miner.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Allium leaf miner.
Yeah,
they don't grow out of it. If it's a fly, they don't grow out of it.
Have you tried growing under Enviromesh?
No, they're still getting. Nigel, the best thing you can do.
Whatever it is,
take a photo of the onions.
Yeah, whatever.
Take a picture.
Out of it, so.
What variety are you growing, Nigel? On the heat-treated sets?
Yeah, they're Stir On and Red Baron.
If you've all got it, it's well,
it's not
thrip,
is it?
Fly, but onions don't grow out of it.
No,
because I was going to say if you've all got it, you might have had some dodgy muck or something delivered.
Yeah, that's possible. You know, because
the best thing to do, Nigel, take a photo.
Yeah.
We bumped on this week.
When it starts, I'll take a photo and let you see.
Yeah.
I might even pull a couple up and dissect them.
That's it, if the fly's in there, you'll find it.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
Have a look at my picture. Is it?
Cheers.
Can you see it? Is it that? Oh, bloody gone off.
It's not that.
Oh, where's it gone? It said on the onion thrips for leaf curl. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit early.
I can't find the picture now. There it is. Can you see it?
That's thrip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that says it's thrip.
That's thrip. Or spider mite, but outside this time of year, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I don't get that streaking on the leaves at all.
Yeah, take us a photo, Nigel, for next week.
Yeah, well, I haven't got it yet, but I'll show you.
Yeah. Oh,
you won't get it this year, there you watch.
That's all right. Any more questions for our Nigel?
Yeah, can I ask a question? How close were your onions? Because they looked quite close compared to mine.
You want to what you want bet now? The shallots or
where you had a bed and you had onions and shallots in it, and I think you had some seed onions at the back, but they looked like they're about that close together. Maybe it might be deceiving.
Back more, back again.
They're bloody gooey.
Yeah, it's quite a few back.
Back more. One more.
Yeah, back more. Yeah, them ones. Yeah, them onions.
Them the shallots.
Yeah, no, the ones at the back.
Garlic.
How close were they? Oh, they're garlic.
The ones in the middle are normal garlic called Marco. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12.
How close were they?
Them are probably 9 inches apart. They are.
Ah, right. It's deceiving then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah. He needs to paint his fence at the back by the gate.
That's for a job when I got nothing to do, Paul.
The patio looks lovely, but the fence looks liquor paint.
I've got the paint, but
It'll
You
still be
had,
like that next year then.
You had good service from Rhino, Nigel. I've seen your latest blog on YouTube.
It's the last but one latest. I'll put one up tonight, so I'll watch it after you've left here.
Oh right, okay, all right.
He'll be in bed. He's got delivery at 6 off Amazon.
I've got to go and shut the greenhouses up.
New greenhouse.
Ah, blimey.
Right, moving on. Nigel, you're a star. Thank you, sir.
There's Vic. Thank
Cheers,
you. Thank you
Nigel.
all.
Cheers, nice.
Right, we had a bit of sun during the week, meaning it was getting hot, and there was a forecast hot the next day as well. But that was wrong. So I got my scale, a bit of warm water, and I've took this lot off. It was a forecast rain. And what happened the next day? We've had sun again for 2 days. Couldn't forecast any road up. These little chaps, which I had probably the wicker flower, have started going a bit, not leggy, but going too high, so I pinched them out. So they're all the same bush size when they do go out.
Mick?
There's a hound again. Yes.
You take cuttings of them salvias,
No, I ain't got time or the room.
or just stick them in a 3-inch pot, mate, all together, and they'll root in a fortnight.
Right, I'll get them out of the bin tomorrow. Right, checking my delphiniums again. Another curled up leaf, i.e. that one there, and I found this little chap. See a curled up leaf on anything, check them. And that's the same plant, and I got a flower head coming on. So that's a bit early for him. Right, I've told our lot on the gardening club from our trading sheds that we've got on the, not many, I think there was 18 grow bags left. So if they wanted them to get round. Paul, you got your hand up?
No.
I've
still got it up. I've still got it up.
I can see you, you'll have it, don't matter.
Hang on, I'll take it down. Sorry.
Yeah. But the last grow bags I got, well, the last one, that was all I could get. It was Levington's. And I ain't had these before. But there's a few quick queries about how many do you plant in one grow bag. Obviously, this is a large grow bag. 1, 2, or 3.
2.
Right, how much peat? This is how much peat they use. So there's 50%. That's midway. So it's not all peat in itself. It's a mixture. Until I've opened the bag up, I ain't got a clue. So we'll come back on and I'll let you know that one again. But I've never noticed that before on any other grow bags. Right, something else. Supporting. Avoid piercing the bottom of the bag. I've been using grow bags for years on the end of the greenhouse, i.e. on trellis. This is for me, cucumber, peppers, whatever. And I've always put 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 holes in the bottom of the grow bag. Always, for drainage. It tells you here, avoid piercing the bottom of the bag. Now, I saw my mate during the mic, he come down for some grow bags. And he mentioned this. He says, my tomatoes have been crap for 3 years solid and whatever. And when I mentioned about putting drainage in, he says, I've never put drainage holes in. And this is why. Avoid piercing the bottom of the bag. How the hell are they going to grow? Roots have got to breathe. If you... No, any road. It tells you not to, but it's up to you. I've always put at least 12 holes in the bottom. Right, when you get them, these are solid because they've been packed on a pallet, meaning you've got to break every lump of your growing medium inside there. I put it down on the side and I just punch or flatten my fist on breaking all these up. Then I get it lying flat and I've got my other hand on this side as well. And I'm going down the bag, breaking all those lumps up. If you get a hard lump in there, the roots ain't going to go through that. They're going to go somewhere else into a mixture. The more you break up, the more that bag is going to fill up with roots. That is what you want. Bottomless pot, that's all I'm using to go on the top of them. Normally, I mean, if these are smaller pots, you could have two of what's it, but all I would use is one pot in the middle. If you remember that photo of my chili plant last week, he was huge. If I'd have got two plants in there, it wouldn't be. Don't forget, because I'm on staging, which is waist height, it's at the end of my greenhouse, so I haven't got the room, like the length or the height of the greenhouse, to grow anything that high. So I've only got the top half of the greenhouse height wise anyway. So for me, it's just one pot in a grow bag that size. Then it can go that way and that way. But don't forget, that will be plastered in roots when the time I come out to finish them out, because at the end of the season, when I empty that bag, that compost there is going into my compost. It's another mixture for that. But this is plastered in roots. It is chocker, meaning if I got two plants in there, it'd be too big, too much in there. So for me, it's just one end, and the end, because I haven't got the width, I have to turn the bag over, as you can see underneath. So there's about 6 big holes on that lot. We'll come on to that again later on. This is a photo someone put on one of the groups on Facebook, and he's a first timer, and he put this on, and he's got his grow bag there, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pots on a grow bag. So I just messaged him and said that that's too many in one grow bag. But he says, I'm only resting on the grow bag. I says, good lad. How much you put in? He says 4. I says, it's going to be too many. I've talked him down to 3 or 2. But he's still learning. But things like that, if you put 4 in, you ain't going to get the roots breathing properly. Right then, our third guest speaker, Nick from Chard.
Hello, good evening.
He's a good looking bugger. Are you ready, Nick? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, carry on. Mate. Okay, just a quick bit of a rundown on my grow so far this year. As we all know, it's been not the best of springs, pretty cold, so it's hard going. So there's a picture of my big onions that I'm growing. They've been growing for about 6 months now. So the grow season is about 10 to 11 months, finishing in September or maybe a bit earlier. Not the biggest onions I've ever grown, but I didn't really put my heart into it this year. I was going to have a year off, but I was given 4 young plants in late October, and I've sort of nurtured them on through various stages of growing media, lights, different nutrients and that sort of thing. So not too bad. I think they're probably on for probably about, I'd like to think 12, 13 pounds at the moment. Very healthy. The reason you keep them that way is nutrients and spraying to keep on top of things that we talked about earlier about discoloration of the onion, thrip, red spider mite, maggots in the soil, that type of thing. So it's a 24/7 operation to look after them, and once you've got a full-time job, it's quite difficult. But they're in a 14x8 greenhouse, still bubble wrapped, because we're still getting frost at night. And the reason I do that is because if you and it's fully heated, so I keep it about 16°C, and if you don't, you can get a check on them. And a check means basically the onions will go to seed a bit later on. You won't see it. You think everything's fine, and then about 8 to 10 weeks time, it sends a flower head up, and that's the end of story. But next pic, Nick. So there's a picture of one of the greenhouses. So full LEDs. They're not on at the moment, but they are on in the morning. They come on about 30 minutes before daylight, and they stay to about 9 in the morning, and then go off all day this time of year, then come back on at, I think it's about 6 o'clock in the evening till about 9:30. I stay about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I stay about an hour ahead of daylight. about 30 minutes either side of daylight on the onions on the right hand side. And as you can see in the middle, there's stuff germinating, some show onions on the left. They should make 5 or 6, 7 pounds. And you've got the reject onions in the middle with various other bits and pieces, chili plants, courgettes, tomatoes up in the right hand corner. That's Akron, very prolific variety, high yielding, produces about 7 trusses of 10 to 12 fruit. They won the Royal Horticultural Society back about 6, 7 years ago, so quite a good tomato. Next one, Mick. That's just a picture on the left hand side of some of the show onions. So these are different strains of onions, not stuff you can buy in the shop. They're sort of bred by the ones on the left, actually, the first 3 or 4 are bred by myself. They're off a strain called Peter Hoden. When I say they're not bred myself, it's onions I've got off people. And then further on, you've got John Salisbury, who's a big grower up in the northeast of England. But these onions should make, I would say, 5 to 7 pounds. They're in 35-litre pots.
Right.
They're grown in Johnny Inn's number 3 or M3 with vermiculite, a few other additives added in for the growing season, and yeah, and then supported to keep them straight. That's really important as well. It's a real shame because my 3 county shows have been cancelled, so waste of time, but good for stock next year. Next one, Mick. Mick touched on Blanche Leeks. So this is in a 30 by 18 polytunnel. These are grown in air pots, which are self-pruning, basically. So basically the plant sends the roots out, hits the sides, the roots die, which send out lots of roots. And basically it's a bit like if you've got a normal pot, Mick, and everybody will know, if you've got a normal pot, the pot becomes root bound. So the pot never becomes root bound. It searches, the roots die on the outside, goes dry, and the mechanism of the plant says, right, I've got to send out more roots because I'm dying, and you just get a massive roots. It's the same as my onions. I grow them in air pots. The blanch on them, that's a 14-inch blanch, and they'll probably come off in a couple of weeks' time. Bit concerned they're going to boat, just basically because of space and temperature. It's quite a frost pocket where I am with the polytunnel and land up there. But they're still good plants, and there's no show. So if anything else, they'll make a nice stew and keep a couple for stock. Next one, Mick. Okay, giant cabbage. So these, I've got 2 varieties here. A Cornish giant. They're grown in tires in the ground. And on the right-hand side, the far top right, is a hybrid variety, which I've got off a friend. I've got 1 in the ground and 1 in the pot to back up. These last year, I grew them to about, I think about, I'm estimating 55, 60 pounds in weight. Again, they were for Harrogate, Malvern, giant veg stuff, but it didn't happen. So I'm growing them again. You'll see the discoloration on the leaves. That's there's a deficiency. There's 2 things wrong with these cabbage at the moment. It's temperature. So they take a bit of a check. They don't grow as well as they should do. And also there's a phosphorus deficiency. I'm feeding them on very high nitrogen feed. So I'm using a 20% nitrogen feed, which they'll just go mad basically over the next couple of months. Where we do now, sort of beginning of May, June, end of June, I'll stop the feed and then I'll give them a bit more of a sort of phosphorus potash feed to make them head up. But we'll see what happens. Next one. So this is a small 8x6 greenhouse at home that I'm just growing some tomatoes in. These are in quad grows, so automatic watering through capillary watering with nutrients in. There's some orange pots there. They're for some friends that I've just grown. These are tumbling and just bush varieties. On the right is some flowers. Last year I didn't grow anything in there, so my wife said it's a criminal. Why aren't you growing in there? So I thought I'd grow some stuff in there this year. Next one. This is sort of a view of the 18 by 30 polytunnel. So I've got about 40 hanging baskets. So I've got about, I think about 250 strawberry plants in there, in hanging baskets, all grown from the outside, nothing from the top. And the reason I do that is two things. One, you don't get any problem with the fruit, getting any soil or water on them rotting. Secondly, the top of the hanging pots, you can, so I keep them in these for 3 years. I've got some first year, second year and 3 year plants. And secondly, the advantage of that not growing in the top is you can put in your fertilizer or organic, which I use. I'm completely organic in here. Is put some horse manure on top. So it's easy to water, easy to feed. Out of those pots, I'm expecting to get about 60 kilos of tomatoes. That's quite, sorry, strawberries, not tomatoes. That's quite a lot, 60 kilos. So it's a bit of income to help pay for what I spend out. So, you know, and then you can see all the canes. So in the middle bed, I'm growing about 60 tomato plants, a mixture of Akron, Gardener's Delight, Sweet Millions, Roma, which is bush variety. On the left-hand side, you'll see the netting. In fact, if you go to the next slide, Mick, I think I can explain a bit more about that. Sorry, that's the other side of the leeks. I've got some multi-sown beetroot and some lettuce, which is ready to pick. That'll come out in the next sort of 3 to 4 weeks. And then I'll be putting some other veg in, which I've got, which is aubergines, blah, blah, blah. Next one. That's looking at so the plot goes right the way to the top. I've got a orchard at the top, and a summer house right at the top, and a big what do they call it? Bloody jump up and down thing. But then this was taken about 10 days ago. That it's a bit more than what it was. In the middle, the second bed up, you'll see 2 leeks. They're pendle leeks I put in that they'll go to seed later, and I'll take the grass off them, or seed. It's probably be grass, and they'll be my stock for next year. I've got I've got cabbage, I've got cauliflowers. That bed all the way along now is full up with brassicas. I've also got Swiss chard in there. The bottom bed to the left by the peas is asparagus. They're just coming up. It's a real cold spot where I am. So there's asparagus coming up there. I've got 2 or 3 beds of asparagus here. They're the second year, so I've not picked them at all. And I've got peas growing. Next one, Mick. So again, a bit of another view. So I've got a fruit cage in the middle there. That's got blueberries, strawberries, which is a waste of time, really. I'm going to dig the strawberries out, but I've got black currants, gooseberries. Always yields really well. Needs a good tidy up, which I'm off this week, so I'll sort that out. And then the bed right at the top on the left, I've put in carrots, Swiss chard, parsnips, and some courgettes will go in there in a couple of weeks' time. Next one, Mick.
Can I just put in there quickly? Collins just had an Amazon delivery. Did you see him go out?
Yeah, I did.
On the bed there on the left is garlic and onions. I think it's Centurion and Japanese onions down the bottom, and they should come out. They're doing really well, actually. I thought they were going to be slow with the cold weather, but they're doing really well. So I think they'll be out sort of mid-June, maybe early June, and then I'll backfill that with whatever I fancy. Next. So on the left-hand side of the tunnel, I've got netting up. So what I'll do in the bed there, so this has been well manured with horse manure all the way through the winter. I'll be putting in melons, cucumbers, whatever I fancy, really, and I'll be growing them up through the nets. It's about utilizing all the space you've got. You think a 30 by 18 polytunnel is quite a big growing space, but actually when you start putting in 50 or 60 tomatoes and you start putting in 10 cucumber plants, you start putting in 10 aubergine plants, it all becomes very, very filled up very quickly. So I'll be growing melons up through there. And the strawberries in there, they will come out probably late June. Once they've fruited, they will come out and they'll be put outside, watered. I'll probably cut all the runners off this year. I don't need them. I've got 250 plants, so and then I'll just feed them. I may keep a few runners, but the varieties, I don't know what varieties strawberries grow. So I grow Cambridge, Florence, and Florento. They're very, very prolific, very high yielding, very, very tasty strawberries. Next one. And then some tomato plants in there. There's probably about 40 there. They're ready to go out. It's been a really cold. So the bed there is heated. There's a heating cable in there set at about 14 degrees. It's been a really, I'm still getting frost. This morning was minus 1.8. So it's quite difficult, as we all know. But yeah, but they're fine. And they'll go out the end of the week into the polytunnel. So there's some nasturtiums, leeks, all the rest of it, you know, your usual summer stuff, sweet peas. So I grow nasturtiums. Nasturtiums are a very good plant to grow for defending your plants. So they're very good at taking green fly, black fly, aphids. They will be more attracted to the nasturtiums than they will your plants. They're not going to get rid of them, but they definitely are deterrent from your veg and crops. Next one. Again, that's another repeat picture of that was taken about 10 days ago. But that's next one, Mick. So a few pictures of what I grew last year. This is about August time. So that cabbage is about 45 pounds, believe it or not. It's quite big. That's what you can grow. You can see the polytunnel. You can see all the horse poo there at the front of the polytunnel. That's in September. So again, it's continuous work, crops out, and getting the beds ready for the following year. Next one. Then cucumber, giant cucumbers. This one was around 30 inches. No world record, but still a good cucumber. As you can see, all the beds emptied. I'm one of these gardeners. I don't like to hang on to things. Once it's all finished, everything comes out. It's a complete clean down and get ready for the following season. Next. So that's an onion. Actually, it wasn't grown at the polytunnel, this one. That was £15, 6 ounces. That was grown at home. I grow all my big onions at home. I can control them better with light, feed, and that sort of thing. But that was a photographer from, I think it was the Daily Star. I can't remember who it was now. A photographer that came along and took them pictures for a magazine or something. Next one. Then kohlrabi. That is a kohlrabi. I don't smoke anymore, but I do vape. So there's your that's a kohlrabi I grew, which I can't remember the weight of it. It was 20 pounds. No world record breaker. I didn't really put my heart into it because there was no shows, but that's the sort of size you can grow. Next. That's it. Thanks ever so much.
Nick, you have a start. Right, questions, troops?
Nick, did you say you're not entering any shows because Malvern's on this autumn, isn't it? The joint veg.
I don't know. I don't know if it will be on. So I've booked a hotel for Harrogate. I don't think my veg is good enough this year, to be honest. I haven't put my heart into it. The Leeks are very good. I planned all my quality veg around shows in August, and they've been cancelled. Malvern, don't know. I may go. It's
they seem to have put an extra day on the 24th to the 26th of September.
Yeah, but the 3 county shows down here, which is 2 in Dorset and 1 in Somerset, the websites were all up. I checked within the last 2 weeks, and they've chucked out all the veg. All they're doing is flowers. They're trying to reduce the amount of people that are coming to the shows. So I wouldn't mind betting that Harrogate and Malvern do the same. Don't know. But the cabbage, I'm happy with the cabbage. They're doing well. I'm happy with the onions. They're no world record breakers, but I have got some really good stock that are going to seed this year. And then the flowers are just, sorry, the seed heads are just chucking up.
Was that cabbage like one of them? Is it a Cornish giant, they call them?
Yeah. I haven't grown the last year I grew giant beetroot. I did some really good beetroot. carrots, other stuff. I haven't done it this year because I just knew early spring it wasn't going to happen, and I'm not going to waste the space.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Nick while we got hold of him? Nick, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank
Boston,
you.
as usual. Somebody got a question then for our... No. Cheers, Nick. Right, this is down the plot again. We've had another drop off. This time I had to go and have a word with them. Because I did have one drop off and they left all the wood chip over the road, meaning I've got to bloody clean it off. It only happens once. People only crap on me once, so I just threatened them. He apologised, won't do it again. Good lad, he hasn't. Good. If you don't tell him, I'll take the urine. Saturday down the trading sheds. On the left, we've got 3 bags. There's worm cast, spent mushroom compost, and rock dust. The one in the middle, spent mushroom compost, nearly finished. So I'm going to ring our mate up. Who I've told everybody the contacts, give him a Dan from Beaver. See if I can blag a bag off him. While I was there, advertising my book. Colligate Book of the Year. Surprising how many people go out now and they ain't got no money. They don't carry money. Well, they do for the bloody trading sheds.
How are sales going?
How many what? All right, I'll keep buying it myself. Right, this is plants Keith sent me earlier on. Climbers and all this. Having a perv underneath, meaning that's telling me he wants potting on. Right, my own compost. I'm using a load of it. So I'll take my worms out first. Open the straw up, nice and moist underneath. Bung the worms in there. This is another one. This is my compost 100%. I've been trialing this, which you can tell by looking at him. But getting up closely to it, if you're into your soil bacteria and fungi, these are the hyphae roots coming off the main roots. Now, usually it gets blurred when I take a photo, but this was just a normal photo, no zoom, nothing. And it was excellent out. Look at that, hyphae roots. Now, that is different. I haven't got that on normal compost clover. So that just shows you what your own compost does. What is in your compost, the goodies. So what I'm saying to you lot is, if you make your own compost, just do a trial and error. If you think your compost is ready, get some out and just bung a seedling in, or if you're potting something on, just one bedding plant or something. If he's going into a 3.5 inch pot into a 5 inch pot, just use your compost. And I just mix it with a bit of vermiculite. As you know, I'm a lover of that, as you can see it in there. And just do a trial using your own compost. Because very soon, peat compost is going to be very, very short. And do a trial and let me know how you get on. Close that up. Oh, yes.
Can't hear you, Mick. There's somebody got telly on.
Can somebody mute
Oh,
yourself?
sorry, that's me. Sorry.
Okay. Right, another one I've got out. And this side is clear as a whistle. Now, I've noticed this before. And I keep bloody forgetting, but I'm not going to forget now. But the other side has got roots on it. So there's roots that size, but not that size. And what it is, pretend them, I mean, I've potted these lot on. And what I'm doing now is watering outside. But if you pretend them are in the greenhouse, the sun comes up here and goes down here. So the warmth is in this side of the pots, permanent. Now, if I've got something growing that's not a plant, like Leeks seedlings, I turn the pots about every other day to stop the shoots leaning towards the sun. It's exactly the same principle. Because the heat is on this side of the pot, that's where the bloody roots go. The roots are bloody soft. They're not going to go to the compost that side because it's not warm. So now, if my brain tells me, every time I go into the greenhouse, I'm going to start turning these pots as well. So all me pots I got in there with me summer bedding plants, everything is being turned daily. Looking at it that way. Right, this was yesterday, taking a dog for a walk. This is with a hound, obviously. This is Aaron. He's got the hound on the lead. 2.5 hour walk. Gordon Bennett. Good walk though, Boston day. But it always happens when you never got your camera ready. Was walking away and someone come round the corner. I nearly cracked myself. And it was this chap, pterodactyl. Look at him.
Heron.
But the size of him, the wingspan, and he legged it down. But I managed to get that still. I thought it might have been blurred, but I managed to get the chap. Right, Little or Smalling, what have they got in? Tomato plants, all sorts. Peppers. So if I'm stuck, leg it down there. Yesterday morning, this is obviously morning time TV. And there's my look at that. Ladies, if you want to zoom into my tulip, you'll have to watch it on YouTube tomorrow. There's my action bit. Paul took that. He got excited. I can ask him next year.
No day.
This is World Naked Gardening Day for them that don't know. That's Mark down our plot. He come in as well. He's a good lad.
There's Mark as well.
He got a splint on his ass. I just took it out for him.
Yeah, whatever else.
A cracking photo that was, boys.
Right. Right, this is Claire from France. Now, Claire, how did you get away with that? From your hobby? Oh, that's boy. He was in as well. Andy, well done. And that's all we got of them two. Also. Right, guest speakers for next week. We've got Colin. He's going to be talking on how he became an Amazon rep.
Where's that photo come from?
Yes.
Is he going to be nude, Mick?
Huh?
Is he going to be nude, Colin?
He is there. I've craned him in. We've also got Nigel giving us an update on his Gladys. And we got Paul giving us an update on his plot and produce.
Update on his beer.
Remember, if anybody can add their photos, if you don't want your name on site, just give me a makeup main. But just put your produce on, and that's it, people. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Sponsor his own beer.
Michael.
Questions?
On the spur of the moment, for the good of everybody. And Mummy has elected herself.
Is that a parrot or a bloody Sally?
Yeah.
Smelly, snoring old Paddy is consulting.
Yes.
And the line of duty's been on for 10 minutes.
I know.
What do I
My missus will have paused it.
I know where it's been.
Cheers, Claire.
Oh my God, you forgot mixed tulip.
He doesn't hold it.
He says he will hold it, and I says, well, I'll go and hold it because I know where it's been.
Paul, put it down for seed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what. I was cutting his mother-in-law's grass and he turned around and got his pants off. I thought, shit. Just take a picture. He died. You like Marky boy?
I thought Paul
down
was
you.
naked garden.
Mick,
Yes.
will you keep in mind what I said about the picture for next year? You are in your birthday soon before you take the picture.
Cheeky bugger, eh? Good job I can't reach you.
I don't think the tulip was big enough.
We're sending him over to you, Jeffrey.
I thought we'd have had a photo from Austin.
No, everything shrunk down here.
He might have get his arse. Mick, he might have get his arse end. Austin.
Black Country, Austin, or Austin. Anybody got any questions about anything being bunged on tonight? My side on it.
No.
Good. At least the worm wheel worked.
Yeah, but they win.
I like winning. Bloody close again.
Didn't work for me.
one of these days.
Right, here's one question for everybody. Mycorrhizal fungus doesn't work on vegetables. As in cabbages. True or false?
It's a lot of crap.
False.
Well, no. I tried it. When did I try it? Probably about 6 years ago. Somebody says it doesn't work on brassicas. That was in the small print. It's all according which mycorrhizae you use, the Zendo and Ecto. So, being a trial man, I tried it under my sprouts. My sprouts had 8-foot canes up them. I had to extend them.
Really?
Meaning, a sprout isn't a brassica. According to that, then. Is a sprout a class as a brassica or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Steve,
it works on sprouts.
Steve,
What?
I saw mixed sprouts. So it's frigging used as Christmas trees.
I'm only quoting what I've read on internet.
There was like Christmas trees. There
Yeah.
was.
Steve, if I can find the photo of them, I'll send it to you.
There's Christmas trees.
If you can find whoever said that, say, well, we make tries on these, and that's the result.
Mick, I actually think you'll say it's on the RHS website. I think that says about the.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And I tried it on tomatoes.
Well,
And
obviously, for them to
that's-
say that, they've used mycorrhizae. That is the rough one for brassicas. Then
I
got to
tried it
read
on
the small
tomatoes.
print.
The
Wherever
one,
you
yeah.
get your mycorrhizae from, read the small print on the back. Because if that's just one endo or ecto, then it's only going to be good for roses, shrubs, or anything like that.
Tomatoes the one year. I tried it on, and I had roots 6 foot long. I dug them up, and I finished the season.
I keep watching that YouTube with that volcano in Iceland. When are you getting a trip up, mate?
When you stop bloody bubbling.
I could do with some of that rock.
I've got some down here waiting for you, rock dust. And I've shredded
just
your
put them in
dried
the bag.
goat muck for you.
I'm going tomorrow to get some more. I've got 8 bags now.
Good man.
8 bags of seaweed.
We got rain here all day tomorrow. Storm.
You have? Well, it will do. It washes all muck out to England.
We still got some muck in here.
Nigel, get off that bloody bed. You make me tired when I watch your videos. The swinging bloody bed. Who's got a swinging bed in the garden?
Hey. Mark's still on the what's it look? He's in it. He's still on his allotment in his tunnel. You see him there, look.
Absolutely.
Oh, Mark, yeah, he is, aye.
It's lovely.
Where's that man gone with birdhouse on his head?
You know what, Mick? You know why he's across the road from Pardo's? He's waiting for it to open.
Yeah. 17th of May. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I'll see you lads. I've got to go and shut the greenhouses down. And
No, you got delivery, really.
The sausage has arrived, Colin.
Hey?
Has the sausage arrived?
Oh, I need some more. I'll see you all next week.
Cheers,
Right.
Colin.
Cheers.
Bye.
See ya.
Just call, mate.
See ya. Thanks again, Mick. Cheers.
Cheers, people.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. I'm going to as well.